I call to order the regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of Trustees of the Village of Burr Ridge for May 11, 2020. Can we do the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Can you show the boardroom with the flag? I pledge allegiance
to the
to the
flag
flag
of the
of
United States
of America
and
and to the republic
for which it stands,
stands
one nation,
nation,
under
God, indivisible,
God,
liberty,
and
justice for all. Manifest the wave of the future. Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Francis. Trustee Francis.
You
He's
may be-
probably muted.
I was muted, sorry. I'm here.
Trustee Schiappa.
Here.
Trustee Pavesa. He's probably muted too. Trustee Pavesa.
Al, you've got to unmute.
Trustee Snyder. I'll come back. Trustee Matal.
Here.
Trustee Model. Trustee Pavesa. Trustee Snyder. Mayor Grasso.
Here.
We know that they're there.
Well,
Yeah, I'm unmuting Al right now. There you go, Al.
Trustee Pavesa.
okay, I really want this fixed by the next meeting.
I hit unmute on the button and
There you
that's
are.
why.
There you go, Al.
All right,
Okay,
Al.
Hear me?
all right, Karen, can you finish the roll and see if we've got everybody?
Trustee Pavesa.
Here.
Trustee Snyder.
Here.
I'll try trustee Model.
Has
Trustee
anybody
Model.
heard from Zach?
No.
Okay, then we'll continue on. If anybody gets a text or if he's having difficulty, please let me know right away. Okay, the consent agenda. Does anybody want to pull anything from the consent agenda?
Gary, is anybody in the public ask for anything to be pulled from the consent?
This is Trustee Francis. I'd like to have the meeting minutes from April 24th removed from the consent agenda, please.
April 27th.
April
April 27th.
27th, that's 5A, okay.
April 27th, please. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else want anything pulled from the consent agenda?
No.
No.
All right, consent agenda, all items listed with an asterisk are considered routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda, discussed by the board, open for public comment, and voted upon during this meeting. 5 minutes B, receive and file Economic Development Commission meeting of May 6, 2020. 6, ordinances. C, approval of an ordinance granting a PUD amendment to permit a new independent living apartment building, additions to several additional existing buildings, additional parking spaces, and ancillary revisions of the interior roadways and related engineering features at the subject property, Z01 2020 6101 County Line Road, King Brevier House. 8, D, approval of recommendation to authorize the license agreement extension with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources along the I&M Canal for the Bedford Park Water Transmission Main. E, approval of a request from the I&M Canal National Heritage Corridor for donation from the Hotel Motel Tax Fund for the village's 2020 annual contribution. F, approval of vendor list dated May 11, 2020 for the fiscal year 2019-20 in the amount of $294,444.81 for all funds, plus $194,912.33 for payroll, for the period ending April 18, 2020, for a grand total of $489,357.14, which includes special expenditures of $21,019.55 to the Federal Signal Corporation for the upfitting of 2 police squads, and $185,774.10 to Cessian Plumbing for water main replacements. And G, approval of vendor list dated May 11, 2020 for fiscal year 2020-2021 in the amount of $107,489.86 for all funds, plus $184,333.75 for payroll for the period ending May 2, 2020, for a grand total of $291,823.61, which includes special expenditures of $92,528 to Monroe JX Truck Center for Unit 33 Peterbilt truck.
Mayor
Can I-
Grasso, I believe
Yes.
you skipped 7B.
I believe I skipped 7B. Thank you. 7B, adoption of resolution rescinding the withdrawal of the Village of Burr Ridge from the Intergovernmental Personnel Benefit Cooperative and the South Central DuPage County Benefits Pool. With that, and thank you, Karen, can I get a motion to approve the following items on the consent agenda? 5B, 6C, 7B, 8D, E, F, and G.
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion? Roll
None.
call, please. Roll call, please.
Trustee Francis,
Yes.
trustee Pavesa,
yes.
trustee Snyder,
Yes.
trustee Matal,
yes,
trustee Skiappa,
Yes.
5-0.
5-0, the motion passes. That takes us to minutes. 5A, approval of regular board meeting of April 27, 2020. Trustee Francis.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I had asked these minutes to be removed because at the last meeting on April 27th, there was a censorship resolution of Mr. Model, and Mr. Model chose to vote on that issue despite our rule number 9 in section 2.67 of the municipal code that requests that board members with an interest, indirectly or directly involved in the issue at hand, should not be voting on that issue, and he voted anyway.
Right. I think and then Mike, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think the proper procedure would be to now note that while Robert's rules would not permit me as chair of the meeting and presiding officer of the meeting to prevent trustee Model or anybody else, any other trustee from voting, the record should note that he did so in violation of Rule 9, which says that you should not vote or shall not vote, which actually means should not vote. So I believe, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, the amendment to the rule would be that the vote was 5-1, but that trustee Model voted in violation of our Rule 9. Am I correct?
I believe the way to handle that is to have a point of order raised after the vote is taken, and somewhat similar to what actually appears in these draft minutes, that somebody questioned whether he was allowed to vote. Unfortunately, Robert's Rules of Orders states that even though you should not vote on a matter in which you have a direct personal or pecuniary interest, it states, however, I'm quoting, no member can be compelled to refrain from voting in such circumstances. So even though you have a rule and he's voting contrary to that rule, you should point that out in a point of order after the motion votes are tallied and the chair announces that the motion carried. a trustee could raise a point of order, and then the chair would be able to address it, similar to how you did last meeting, Mayor, and what you just did tonight.
Okay, so, Guy, I think if you wanted to make a motion to amend to show a point of order, the minutes can so reflect as amended, a point of order, and under the point of order, a notation that trustee Model was apprised of Rule 9. He insisted on voting anyhow, even though Rule 9 says that he shall not vote.
I'll go ahead and make that motion with the point of order raised and the subsequent annotations made to the meeting minutes.
I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Francis,
Yes.
trustee Skiappa,
Yes.
trustee Pavesa,
Yes.
trustee Snyder,
Yes.
trustee Matal,
yes,
5-0.
5-0, the motion passes. Okay.
Mayor, can I ask a question?
Yes. Of course.
Brad, would we be able to tell, or would you be able to tell if the absent trustee was able to join this meeting at any point in time?
Yes, I can see if his phone number comes up, I'll be able to tell.
Okay, because if we are taking a roll call vote, then you should at least let the clerk know that that trustee has joined the meeting. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. All right. A little smoothly, can we move forward to ordinances? 6, ordinances A, consideration of an ordinance amending the Village of Burr Ridge Personnel Manual regarding a policy prohibiting discrimination and harassment. Doug?
Yes, this is a amendment to the Personnel Manual, which is ordinance number 661. The changes to the policies include clarification that all village officials, elected, appointed, and staff are subject to the policy, and clarifying policies related to supervisory responsibilities, complaint investigation and reporting, and also adding that education and training regarding harassment is required of all village officials, elected, appointed, and staff.
Okay.
I would point out that that's the most significant change, is that the annual training must be provided, and that also includes elected officials. You need to undergo annual training, and Doug has information on when that training and how that training will be offered. Thank you.
All right. Any discussion amongst the trustees?
No.
Well, let's see. Do I need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, now I should say, is there any discussion amongst the trustees? Doug, anybody call in on this? Anybody from the public for public comment?
No, I have not received any notifications of public comment.
Okay. Has trustee Model yet joined us?
No.
All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Skiappa,
Yes.
trustee Snyder,
Yes.
trustee Matal,
yes,
trustee Francis,
Yes.
trustee Pavesa,
Yes.
5-0.
5-0, the motion passes. That takes us to 6 ordinances. 6B, consideration of an ordinance amending section 25.19 entitled Liquor Control Commissioner of the Burr Ridge Village Code. Doug?
Yes, this is an amendment to the municipal code, particularly the liquor regulations, that mirrors state law, which allows the village president or mayor to appoint a designee as liquor control commissioner. you have any questions, Attorney Durkin's prepared this ordinance and he can answer those questions.
Okay, let's get a motion first and a second, and then we'll do that. Can I get a motion to approve the ordinance amending section 25.19 entitled Liquor Control Commissioner of the Burr Ridge Village Code?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion amongst the trustees?
No.
So, Mayor, if I may, this is Mike Durkin. The simple amendment is to add the phrase "or his/her designee," which is found in the statute, the State Liquor Control Act, in Section 4-2. For whatever reason, maybe it was just an oversight. The village code provision did not mirror what the statute states, that the village president or designee of the village president shall be the liquor control commissioner.
Okay, so this is just mirroring state law, Mike?
Exactly, yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions or comments by any trustee? Doug, is there any public comment? Has anybody called in for public comment?
I do not have any notices of anyone calling in.
Karen, has trustee Model joined us yet?
Brad?
No, he's not.
Okay, Brad, no? All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Snyder?
Yes.
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
Trustee Skiappa?
Yes.
Trustee Pavesa?
Yes.
Trustee Matal?
yes,
5-0.
5-0, the motion passes. That takes us to 7 resolutions. Consideration of adoption of resolution of appreciation, recognizing retirement after 24 years of dedicated service to the village of Burr Ridge, Barb Joyce. I have a resolution here that I'd like to read. It's a resolution of appreciation recognizing retirement after 24 years of dedicated service to the village of Burr Ridge, Barb Joyce. Whereas Barb Joyce has provided exceptional service to the village of Burr Ridge since December 26, 1995, and will, on May 15, 2020, retire as an accounting specialist in the finance department, and has provided said service with efficiency, thoroughness, dedication, and integrity. And whereas Barb Joyce, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and board of trustees of the village of Burr Ridge, Dupage, and Cook Counties, Illinois, that Barb Joyce shall hold a place of high esteem in the minds and hearts of the residents and employees of the village, and is offered our sincere gratitude, congratulations, and best wishes on the occasion of her retirement after completing 24 years of service to the village. Can I get a motion to adopt the resolution of appreciation recognizing retirement of Barb Joyce?
So moved.
so move,
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All
aye,
right, any public comment on that, Gary? Any public comment
Gentlemen,
on
there
that,
still
Gary?
seems to be,
I have not received any public comments on this.
okay, resolution passes. That will take us to considerations, discussion of governor's Restore Illinois Recovery Plan and alternatives. I put this on the agenda to bring it in front of the board as to the status of what's happening in the Restore Illinois program and plan that the governor passed. That he's provided without legislative support, but nobody seems to mind that. The DuPage County Mayors and Managers Conference, the executive board today voted to authorize Mayor Cherico, who is the president of DMMC, and he is also the mayor of Naperville, to advocate on behalf of Dupage municipalities to be allowed to move to phase 3 of the governor's plan based on Dupage's numbers alone. And if that is not possible, then to do so as District 8. District 8 is one of the medical districts of the Illinois Department of Public Health, and we as Burr Ridge and DuPage County are part of District 8 or Region 8. And finally, if the governor will not allow that, then to do it separately as the collar counties, separate from Cook and the city of Chicago. All of these opportunities to open up earlier than the city of Chicago would be only if it is consistent with all the health metrics of the DuPage County Board of Health. I support the DuPage mayors and managers' attempt to do this. I must correct myself, actually, in my mayor's message today. I characterize this as a breakaway from the governor's plan, and that language is probably a little too strong. Everybody, including myself and all the mayors that have been speaking on this, want to cooperate with the governor. The governor's probably in a hard spot trying to make determinations based on trying to balance the medicine, all the science, and all the economic bad news that he's likely getting about Illinois, and as we all know locally. So breakaway was probably too strong a phrase, but DuPage is trying to get the message to the governor that our metrics are bringing us into phase 3 a lot sooner than Chicago, and we want to open sooner. And we're hoping that the governor will recognize, as he did today in his press conference, said that if he saw changed circumstances, he certainly might consider tweaking his plan. So I'd like to get your input, the trustees' input, as to whether or not you would agree that if the metrics are such that we are safely able to move to phase 3, which would allow us to open in phases and open in accordance with the social distancing rules, that you would also be in favor of doing that. So that's why I asked this to be put on the agenda tonight, just to get your feedback, to make sure all your questions are being answered and your voice is being heard as part of this village.
Yeah, this is Al. When I saw the original map that put DuPage County in with Chicago, I thought that was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. And I think this is a good plan.
This
Mayor.
is Anita Vital. I agree with Al and the mayor. I think this is a good plan. I feel the quicker we can start turning things around, the better. The longer we wait, the more detrimental it'll be for the businesses. So if we can adopt some rules like wearing masks in public, social distancing, and I've walked in the Burr Ridge Village Mall many times, and those stores really don't get too much traffic, and to keep them closed is really unfair because the grocery stores, Targets, Walmarts, they're packed, and these stores, which have very minimal traffic, are asked to shut down. So kind of seems ironical. So I am for opening gradually with some rules in place.
This is Tony Schiappa. So during our meeting for the Economic Development Committee, we discussed the pros and cons of opening our stores in Burr Ridge. There was thoughtful debate and unanimous consent to open the businesses in Burr Ridge with restrictions. I'd like to see businesses open with responsible restrictions and leave the decision for people to visit the stores up to the public. This won't be business as usual. This will be business with restrictions. You know, I'm concerned about the health of our elderly and immunocompromised. I'm also concerned about the well-being of our businesses.
This is Trustee Francis. I have a couple comments.
Go ahead, Guy.
So, being in the northeast quadrant like we are, we're of course tied to all the communities around us, including the city of Chicago. The village of Burr Ridge and the surrounding communities, we've been doing what the governor has asked us to do, staying home, staying healthy, keeping our distance, wearing PPE and such. And we've successfully brought our positivity rate down below 20% for the last several days in DuPage County. Cook County is hovering above 23%. We expect this trend in DuPage County to continue, but the residents, their safety is our utmost concern, number one concern, and they're doing their best. We're doing our best, and I think that we should take these moves such that we should be able to go into phase 3 and have limited reopening of businesses and restaurants and such. Thank you.
Joe?
I'd like to follow Trustee Francesi, said it so eloquently. I don't think I can get any better than that. So thank you, Guy.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then I want to specifically, I'll state my position and then ask the trustees if they want to comment. But I do not see opening our businesses and leaving our restaurants closed. I think using the same parameters, making sure that we have the social distancing, as Anita pointed out, that we make sure masks are being worn, face shields are being used by servers, that we keep occupancy at a low level, that we use our outdoor spaces that we have available in Burr Ridge and take advantage of the good weather, that when we say we're going to open and we're going to do it consistently with all the other DuPage County villages or whomever the governor allows us to open with, I'd like to advocate and say that the board of Burr Ridge is in favor of opening everything, stores and restaurants. So if someone doesn't agree with that, I'd like to know. Okay, I'm going to take your silence as agreeing that we should open responsibly, safely, but that we should include our restaurants. Okay, thank you. That gives me something to work for. And again, I probably, not probably, I overstated in my mayor's message today that it was a breakaway, and it's more trying to convince the governor with our statistics in DuPage County, and if not DuPage County, Region 8, if not Region 8, the collar counties, that we are all meeting the metric of less than 20% positivity. We have the hospital ability of beds, ICU units, and ventilators readily available, and that we're able to take care of our patients that do get COVID safely and in accordance with medical rules. So thank you for that discussion tonight. If anybody else has any other comments, more than happy to hear them. If not, I'll go on to the next item. Doug, did we? I should ask. Did we get any public comment on item 8A, discussion of the governor's Restore Illinois Recovery Plan?
We did not receive any public comment.
Okay, has anybody called in? And the reason I'm asking specifically is that two people did call me and asked for the call-in number, and I don't know if they're going to wait till public comment or they couldn't call in for some reason. But I want to be sure because two people indicated they did want to make a statement on this. Okay. Anybody call in?
I do not have any notifications of a call, and if someone's on the line, they could speak up.
Is anyone on the line? Any resident or anybody in the public that would like to comment? Okay. 8B, consideration of a memorandum of agreement extending the term of the collective bargaining agreement with the Metropolitan Alliance of Police, Burr Ridge Command, Chapter 13, Corporals and Sergeants. Doug?
Yes, I will give you an overview of both this item and item D, which is the amendment to the collective bargaining agreement with the Local 150 Public Works.
Item C, you mean?
C, I'm sorry, yes. we have three unions in the village. One is Teamsters, which represents the patrol officers in the police department. They've entered the third year of a 4-year contract, and their contract gives them a 2.75% raise, which was effective May 1st. We did go to the Teamsters with the intent of considering freezing all cost of living May 1st adjustments, but they have a contract and they felt that they wanted to maintain their contract without any amendments. So they, by right, received their 2.75% raise on May 1st. Given that the patrol officers were receiving that under contract, we are recommending that the MAP contract with the corporals and sergeants be extended for 1 year to match the patrol officers' contract, with all the terms and conditions remaining the same, with the only condition change being they would receive the same 2.75% cost of living adjustment on May 1st. That has been reviewed by the Personnel Committee, which is Trustee Schiappa and Trustee Paveza, as well as Chief Madden and myself, and we are recommending that that amendment be approved. With the Public Works Union, their contract's a little bit different. They do not have the right to binding arbitration. They have agreed to accept a 6-month extension in exchange for no layoffs. We still reserve the right to furlough, and they understand that. But they have agreed to a 6-month extension without any cost of living raise that would have otherwise typically been due on May 1st. Again, the Personnel Committee has reviewed that and is recommending that amendment, as am I and Public Works Director Dave Pricey. I'd be happy to answer any questions on either one of those contract proposals.
Okay, then let me make this recommendation. Can someone make a motion to combine and approve items 8B and 8C, and then we'll start discussing them?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any questions of any of the trustees on the combined items 8B and 8C?
Mr. Mayor, it's Joe Snyder. Can Doug just clarify that one more time? Because he broke up a little bit. I want to just clarify, please.
Sure. Anything in particular, or you want him to just do the whole thing?
No, just the last couple things he broke up a little. The union being corrected, the phrase, just want to clarify exactly what he's saying so I can put my notes down.
The second half of that was regarding the Public Works Union, local International Operator Engineers, Local 150. They have agreed to a 6-month extension of their contract, which expired on May 1st. They've agreed to a 6-month extension with no cost of living increase, and with an agreement that there would be no layoffs during that 6-month period. We have made it explicit with them that no layoffs does not mean no furloughs. So we still have the right to furlough if we had to do that. We hope not to have to do that, but that's a right that we feel strongly we have to preserve.
Thank you, Doug. And then the thing is, were those increases that you're talking about reflected in the budget?
We included increases in the budget, but with the expectation was that we would not give those freezes. And because we were in the middle of union negotiations at the time the budget was approved, we wanted to show the worst case scenario in the budget. And so we did include the increases in the budget. So this will help the budget, help us keep the budget balanced by freezing the increase in the Public Works Union. And then as far as the Teamsters, the MAP, corporals and sergeants, that was in the budget, so that's covered.
Right.
All good then. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, all good, and kudos, really. I should pick a better word than that, but appreciation to Local 150, the International Operators Engineers Union, for willing to work with us. I'm sure they're working with many municipalities, but that 6-month reprieve, if you will, is very helpful to our budget. And of course, we gave them our promise not to lay off anyone. We might have to furlough. Hopefully that won't happen, but I did want to recognize that Local 150, was willing to work with us in difficult times, and I'd like that noted in the minutes. Okay, is there any other trustee comments on the combined items of 8, B, and C? Doug, do we have any public comment?
No, I did not receive any public comments.
Okay, the trustee model, Brad, has trustee model joined us yet?
He has not.
Okay, all right. Then can I have a roll call vote, please, for combining and approving of items 8B and 8C regarding the contract with MAP for corporals and sergeants and the memorandum of agreement with Local 150 for public works?
So moved.
No,
No, we have that. Just roll call.
trustee Pavesa,
Yes,
trustee Skiappa,
Yes.
trustee Francis,
Yes.
trustee Snyder,
Yes.
trustee Matal,
Yes.
5-0.
5-0, those motions pass. Thank you very much. That takes us to item 9, public comment. Do we have any public comment, Doug? And let's give a few seconds in case someone wants to dial in.
There were no written emailed public comments.
Mr. Mayor, while we're waiting, I'd like to also follow up on your statement of, we got to get this fixed. I spent a half an hour with Brad. It was very helpful trying to get my tablet up. We had it up and running. I come in here, back to the office at the house, not working. So we got to get this ready. This is not working for me.
Yeah, I'll work on it. I lost everybody during my recitation of the resolution, so I don't even know how much of that was even heard. My screen went off 3 times during that period. So I will work with Doug and Brad to make sure we get some better performance next time. Okay, Doug, any public comment?
No
All
public
right.
comment.
All right, then that takes us to item 10, reports and communications from village officials. Any trustees?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Tony?
well, I'd like to read a letter from a resident addressed to us. We received the letter April 27th, 2020, and I have spoken with the resident about the letter, and she asked that the letter get read into the record. So I will go ahead and do that. And it's from Crystal Downs, who's a resident in Burridge. So she addresses, Dear Mayor Grasso, trustees and officials, for the benefit of the village of Burridge, I strongly request, beginning immediately and moving forward, that all of you leave your egos, personal agendas, and opinions of your colleagues outside of all village functions. Enough is enough. Please stop wasting minutes at scheduled meetings to defame fellow officials and researching bylaws strictly with the intention of censuring fellow appointees. Outside of meetings, please refrain from speaking to the press about such personal actions, further tarnishing the reputation of the village of Burridge. It is embarrassing that this is the continued behavior of our elected officials. We do not need any more bad press. It is disgraceful and disheartening to continually read about the goings-on at these meetings. Differences in opinions are to be expected. However, those need to be strictly based on the betterment of the village and worked out constructively among the presiding members. We need local leaders who are vigilant about coming together for the benefit of the constituents that they represent. You are elected servants of the people of this town. Please respect that privilege and exercise that power bestowed upon all of you for the betterment of this community. There are a handful of issues that matter to the residents of the community that could certainly use your attention for more positive outcomes. Our schools, both elementary and high school, continue to present an inequity in the quality of education that is offered among the institutions that service the residents. In the wake of Sterigenics, our home values have depreciated tremendously and are continuing to lose value. The current stay-at-home order further dampens these negative impacts on our real estate market. The impending deficit budgetary constraints the stay-at-home order will impose long-term on the village of Burridge and local businesses. And most importantly, the lives of the residents of Burridge, which are literally losing to the COVID-19 pandemic. Certainly, any of the aforementioned matters would be better suited to your collective efforts as elected officials. We need leaders who will work together to improve this neighborhood and further exemplify that the village of Burridge is indeed a very special place. The citizens of this community deserve better now more than ever. We need better. And I and the residents of Burridge look forward to your timely response. Sincerely, Crystal Johnson Downs. And so my comment for that is residents are noticing and taking time to express their feelings about our board meetings. We took an oath of office to faithfully perform the duties of a trustee to the best of our ability. Our job is to serve and protect our residents. We serve our residents by providing a proactive road program, a water supply. We protect our residents with a well-trained and CLIA certified police force. And we attend to our village finances by preparing budgets, having them audited internally, and paying our obligations like our vendors, our employees, and our police officers every 2 weeks. These are a few items that belong on an agenda for the residents of Burridge. I agree with Mrs. Downs' letter that personal attacks or personal agendas do not belong in this room. So I encourage my fellow board members to make sure that we keep the business of Burridge in the boardroom and to stay away from any of the personal attacks. Thank you.
Okay, any other reports and communications from village officials?
This is Anita Mittal. I wanted to update everyone on the census numbers. I wanted to thank Chief Madden and David Preisick and the mayor for facilitating us to use the digital board to post our numbers. As of today, 72.4% people have responded to the census in Burridge. I checked all the nearby neighboring villages, Hinsdale, Oakbrook, Willowbrook. Everyone's in the 72 mark, but Darien is at 79% participation rate. So we have a lot of catching up to do, but it's very exciting to see the numbers go up. And we're going to be reaching out to all of our census committee members to spread the word. Please talk to your neighbors, friends, family, and make sure that they have responded to the census. The information's on the digital board. So that's about the census. I also wanted to make a request to the board and see if we can do something in this, something for raising the morale of the village residents. I feel that during this COVID-19 phase, people have been, patiently staying indoors, isolating themselves, self-isolating. They're really trying hard, but it's a moving goalpost and people are getting a little fatigued because it's like the governor's moving the date, and with all, with good reasons. But I feel that if we could just show some encouragement that, the residents have been self-isolating and have really been good, and, the village appreciates it. I'll give you a simple example of India. I mean, India is a huge country, but the Prime Minister, he had a couple of events, and one was where, everyone at 5 p.m. in the evening came out with bells and, something that made a nice noise, and everyone was just ringing a bell or something. So it just creates solidarity in the community. And I had requested the mayor to see if we could have our police cars or fire engines just go around the village at a certain time where everyone comes out. And I think it's a great way of uniting the village and just encouraging them and applauding their efforts, because as you know, Cure is us, and I think us needs to be celebrated for the effort that they've made. But I'll let you give your views on that and see what the mayor decides to do.
Okay, Anita, thank you. Good. Anita and I did discuss something like that. I know the police department, our police department has been doing birthday drive-alongs and drive-bys with fire districts and fire departments. So maybe we can organize something. Certainly, the idea is a good one in the sense of what can we do to get the people out, maybe on a certain date, at a certain time, maybe over a weekend. So I'm open to ideas of how we could organize this and coordinate this, and we'll get that out to the village residents and see what we can do. Thank you for that, Anita. And
Thank you.
trying to raise the morale of village.
Yes.
Certainly, I think a lot of us, I know I am, are tired of being home. So getting out, maybe the weather's even gonna cooperate this week. So let's try to think of something. Thank you for that idea. Any other reports and communication from village officials?
I also had one more thing from the events committee point of view. So I think we're just going to wait for guidance from you and the board based on the discussion you have with the Dupage Mayor's Organization, and whether we are able to open the stores and restaurants. And then I think I guess the events committee can take its cue from that effort to see if we will be able to do anything this year, or if and when we can do something.
I think that's right. And we're all trying to be proactive, but at the end of the day, we'll have to be reactive to the governor, hopefully giving in a little bit on his northeast region and letting us open a little sooner. As soon as he lets us open, we'll try to see what we can do in terms of outdoor events and warm weather. Okay, anyone else?
Mayor, it's
Yes.
Administrator Pollock. I just wanted to mention that staff did send out the money on the tourism recovery program. We've got some great feedback from those businesses expressing their appreciation for the program and the support they're getting from the village.
Okay, good.
Doug, this is Trustee Francis. Could you forward those letters and emails of appreciation to the trustees?
Sure. Evan Walter's been monitoring that, and whatever we have, we'll send it to you.
Thank you.
I'll tell you something, a little funny anecdote. I got an email not 2 hours before the meeting, maybe 3 hours before the meeting, from one of our businesses that received the check and wanting to know if, and sent a copy of my letter that I had signed, and they wanted to know if it was authentic and that the check was real. They were so appreciative of it, they were suspicious. So it at least gave me a little chuckle. So all the feedback's been really positive. So it was good. All right. Any other trustees? Anybody else? Evan, anybody have anything else to address? All right. I have a couple of items and then we'll adjourn. First of all, please note that the next meeting will be a Tuesday because of Memorial Day. It will be May 26th. Also, the clerk, at my request, starting a new program every May 1st, asking to verify people's addresses. All the trustees, myself and the clerk, provided addresses. Only one trustee did not provide an address. We will follow up with him before the next meeting. And then if we don't get an address, we will probably have an agenda item about that. We did buy some additional masks. I think about 3,500 additional masks. Our distribution program for masks has been so successful we've given away already about in excess of 5,000, that we're going to have another mask distribution. We're not quite sure the date yet, but it'll be well publicized, and we'll probably do it in the same manner with people driving by the village hall and being given a certain quantity if they show a proper Burr Ridge address ID. And then I will let the declaration of emergency, I've already signed 2, I will let it expire, which it does automatically tonight with tonight's meeting, and I will not renew it. I don't think there's a basis for it now in Burr Ridge. I think if you followed my numbers, in fact, Burr Ridge is doing excellently in terms of very few new cases, and if you look at the curve and just applied it to Burr Ridge, you'd see that it is plummeting downward. And in that sense, I think Burr Ridge is setting an excellent example of how the stay-at-home order has worked here, and hopefully that will be added reason why we should open up a little earlier as a group, all within DuPage County. So with that, unless anybody else has anything else, can I get a motion to adjourn to May 26th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're
Aye.
adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good
Stay
night.
safe.
Good night.
All right, everybody. Thank you for your cooperation, and everybody stay free from COVID-19.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. You
Bye.
too.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.